I can't say I ever had an imaginary friend when I was a child, or to be fair, for that matter, any real ones. What I did have is a keen interest in technology and video games. So here we are, decades later, and the path I have taken has led me into a virtual world where I play that very imaginary friend I never had. Along Together is a puzzle platform in which you are an invisible friend and protector of a child when they need you the most. Their dog Rashu has gone missing. You guide your child by using the controller and pressing trigger in the direction you want them to go. And you control your own actions as the imaginary friend with a floating hand, using it as a cursor of sorts to manipulate the environment around you. At times this control setup becomes a bit fiddly, with the game trying to determine if you're moving a child or interacting as the imaginary friend. And there was more than one occasion where I'd be trying to climb onto a box, instead found that box moving away, or having to move the controller in a really weird way to push a box around the corner. But though they may frustrate, they're also relatively intuitive and easy to grasp. And if you don't get along with the standard control scheme, you do also have the option of using a more traditional controller for movement, which works well, albeit with the loss of some of the immersion you'd expect in a VR title. Along Together isn't a title you'll be finding yourself mentally exhausted by. The puzzles, while varied in how to solve them, are all relatively simple. And for that, I actually think the game's better for it. It feels like it's set out to be a relaxing experience rather than some devastatingly difficult challenge. You feel like you're a positive influence on this child's journey, which really helps with the tone of the game. You don't feel like you're constantly failing the child and thus failing the game, and instead you feel like you're making progression throughout. The whole game oozes a sense of optimism and fun. Sure, you're helping a child that is scared and downhearted about losing his dog, but within a few levels that dog is presented to you being alive and well. You're not progressing with the hope it doesn't go all Bridge to Terabithia on you. You know from start to finish there will be that eventual reunion between you and Rishu, so it becomes about the voyage. And the music reinforces this with a simple and endearing ambience to it. The game is separated into 3 distinctive zones. The first zone being forest, the second caves, and finally the last zone being the junkyard. Each zone introduces the player to a new puzzle mechanic, though there is absolutely an expectation from Along Together that you're happy to fiddle around with it and see what they might impact. No puzzles are too obtuse or difficult to solve, however, with the rare exception of some puzzles perhaps being a little bit of a stretch to expect the player to be able to deduce on their own. Actually, I'll correct that. No puzzles in a forest or caves are too obtuse or difficult to solve, whereas the final zone, the scrapyard, just leads to endless frustration. It's not the difficulty that's ramping up, it's the intuitivity of the puzzles vanishing. Whereas the previous zones feel well crafted and perfectly balanced, the junkyard feels rushed. I'd love to show you some more footage of this zone, but I actually played this at home and didn't capture. And today when replaying to get the footage, I just kept experiencing frustrating bugs in that last zone, to a degree more than any of the other zones. Like a section that requires you to spawn a car and pressing the button and no car appearing. Q having to restart this chapter and experiencing the same bug yet again. Bugs in puzzle games can really jar the experience, and Along Together has a few. It's completely unenjoyable to replay the same section again, because the game isn't spawning something new or some challenge, it's solved. You know the resolution up until the point where the game broke. Puzzles aren't something you can repeat easily. Along Together is an enjoyable experience, and when the game's in its stride, it's relaxing and perfectly tuned. Casual puzzlers and younger audiences will get a lot out of this game. It's not too challenging, but it doesn't grow tiresome. But unfortunately, there is no getting around the frustrating levels towards the end, and the buggier nature of it. If you're a patient person, then by all means you should pick up Along Together and enjoy the relaxing experience. Else, unfortunately, I'd recommend waiting for a few more patches. So, thanks for watching. If you do want to be along together with us, don't forget to like, subscribe, and comment. We are always appreciative of any of those stuff. And we've got more videos coming up this week, next week, and maybe If we survive that long, even the week after. Thanks for watching, guys, and see you next time.